The call came in at exactly 3:47 a.m. on a cold Tuesday morning in March 2019. Emergency dispatcher Karen Wells had been working the night shift at Chicago's 911 center for 15 years, handling everything from domestic violence calls to overdoses. But nothing had prepared her for this conversation. 911, what's your emergency? The voice that responded was unnaturally calm, almost businesslike. Yes, I need to report a murder that's going to happen. My murder. In approximately 6 hours and 13 minutes. Karen's fingers froze over her keyboard. Ma'am, are you in immediate danger? Is someone threatening you?
No immediate danger.
But at exactly 9:30 a.m. this morning, I will be murdered in my apartment at 1247 Elm Street, Unit 4B. The killer will enter through the back window I left unlocked. Death will occur by strangulation with a blue electrical cord from my desk lamp. The level of detail was chilling. But what disturbed Karen most was the complete absence of fear in the caller's voice. This woman wasn't asking for help. She was reporting facts. Ma'am, who is going to hurt you? Do you know this person? A long pause. Then, barely a whisper, I am. The line went dead. Karen immediately tried calling back, but the phone went straight to voicemail. What she heard next would haunt her for months. A robotic voice stated, You have reached Rachel Morrison. I cannot come to the phone right now because I am dead. Please leave a message after the tone. When officers arrived at 1247 Elm Street at 9:35 a.m., 5 minutes after the predicted murder time, they found Unit 4B unlocked and empty. But empty wasn't the right word. The apartment was pristine in a way that defied human habitation. Every surface gleamed. The hardwood floors showed no wear patterns. There wasn't a fingerprint anywhere. Detective Marcus Rivera was called to the scene an hour later. In 22 years with Chicago PD, he'd seen staged crime scenes before. But this felt different. This felt like a museum exhibit created by someone who had never seen how normal people actually lived. The furniture was minimal but arranged with obsessive precision. A single bed with white sheets tucked at perfect 45-degree angles. One pillow centered exactly. A desk with nothing on it except a laptop and a lamp. A lamp with its blue cord cut 18 inches from the base. The refrigerator contained exactly 3 items. 1 apple, 1 yogurt cup, and 1 gallon of milk that expired that very day. 3 plates in the cabinet, 3 cups, 3 sets of silverware. Everything in perfect sets of 3, as if expecting guests who would never arrive. The closet revealed an even stranger pattern. 12 identical white shirts, hung exactly 2 inches apart. 6 pairs of black pants, pressed with mathematical precision. 1 pair of polished black shoes, positioned toe-to-toe with perfect alignment. The back window was unlocked, just as the caller had specified. It opened onto a fire escape leading to an alley. Fresh scratches on the windowsill indicated recent use, but forensics determined they were made from inside, as if someone had climbed out rather than in. On the desk, investigators found Rachel's laptop, still running. The screen displayed a document titled, Final Report, Attempt Number 847, created at 3:45 a.m., just 2 minutes before the 911 call. It contained 1 line, Loop Number 847, Attempting Paradox Protocol. If this works, I won't need loop number 848. Rivera pulled Rachel Morrison's phone records. According to the carrier, no calls had been made from her number for 3 weeks. The last call was to Portland, Oregon on February 28, her mother. Yet the 911 center had proof the call came from Rachel's phone, complete with GPS data placing it inside Unit 4B. When they powered up Rachel's phone, found on the kitchen counter, the call log showed number 911 call. According to the device, the last call was indeed to her mother 3 weeks prior. The voicemail greeting Karen had heard was nowhere to be found. The building manager, Tom Chin, described Rachel as the perfect tenant. 18 months, always paid on time, never complained, never had visitors. He'd last seen her yesterday morning around 8 a.m., leaving for work as usual. But when Rivera contacted Hendrix Analytics where Rachel worked, he learned she hadn't shown up for work in 3 days. Her supervisor, Dr. Elena Vasquez, was worried sick. Rachel never missed work, Dr. Vasquez explained. In 2 years, she'd never called in sick, never been late. When she didn't show up Monday, I thought maybe she was ill. When she missed Tuesday, I was concerned. When she didn't show up today, I was about to file a missing person report. Dr. Vasquez described Rachel as brilliant but increasingly erratic over the past 6 months. She worked in predictive modeling, using algorithms to forecast consumer behavior. Her work was excellent, her insights uncannily accurate. But something had changed recently. She became obsessed with what she called probability violations. Dr. Vasquez continued. She'd stay late running analyses that weren't part of her job. When I asked what she was working on, she'd just say she was studying temporal anomalies. Rachel's work computer revealed the scope of her obsession. Hidden in encrypted folders were thousands of documents tracking seemingly random events. Lottery numbers, stock fluctuations, weather patterns, accident reports. She'd been building a database of what she called probability violations, events that occurred despite extremely low statistical likelihood. Most disturbing were her personal logs, documenting precognitive episodes, instances where she claimed advanced knowledge of future events. The entries began a year ago and grew more frequent over time. June 15, 2018. Dreamed about Mrs. Patterson's cat getting hit by a blue sedan. License plate JRK 447. Happened exactly as I saw it 2 days later. August 3, 2018. Fire at Riverside Mall. Started in food court, 7 hospitalized. Happened exactly as I predicted. October 12, 2018. The visions are getting stronger. I can see further ahead now. Something terrible is coming. December 1st, 2018. I understand now. I'm not predicting the future. I'm remembering it. But if that's true, then free will is an illusion. January 20th, 2019. Made contact with Dr. Reeves at Northwestern. She thinks I might be experiencing something called getting memories from the future. Says it's theoretically possible but dangerous to act on. March 10th, 2019. I saw it. My own death. March 19th, 9:30 a.m. But if I can see it, maybe I can change it. March 18th, 2019. Tomorrow I die unless I can create a paradox. If I call 911 and report my murder before it happens, police will come and prevent it. The final entry, made at 3:30 a.m. I remember making this call before, but that's impossible because this is the first time. Unless, I think I'm trapped in a loop. Rivera's investigation led him to Dr. Amanda Reeves at Northwestern University, a quantum physicist specializing in consciousness and time perception. She confirmed Rachel had been corresponding with her for months. Rachel contacted me after reading my papers on quantum consciousness, Dr. Reeves explained. The idea is that consciousness might exist partially outside linear time, allowing some people to access information from future events. Most scientists consider it fringe theory, but Rachel had data that was compelling. According to Dr. Reeves, Rachel believed she was experiencing getting memories from the future, essentially receiving information about events that hadn't happened yet. The phenomenon was theoretically possible but had never been documented. I warned her about acting on these experiences, Dr. Reeves said. If someone could access future information and then act to change those events, it could create what we call a causal loop, where the attempt to prevent an event actually becomes the cause of that event. Dr. Reeves showed Rivera Rachel's last email, sent at 11:47 p.m. on March 18th. I've seen how this ends. Not just tomorrow, but all the tomorrows after. I keep trying to save myself, but every attempt leads back to the same outcome. I think the only way to break free is to stop trying. But I can't do that. So tomorrow I'll make the call again, just like I have before. The email troubled Rivera, particularly the phrase, just like I have before. He decided to dig deeper into 911 call records. What he found defied explanation. Over the past 18 months, Chicago's 911 center had received 7 similar calls, all from different women reporting their own murders with uncanny accuracy. All had vanished without a trace at the predicted time. The voices were different, the names were different, but certain phrases were identical. September 12, 2018. Rebecca Miller reported murder by strangulation at 2847 Oak Street. Police found the apartment empty but showing the same obsessive cleanliness. November 8, 2018. Sarah Chun called about drowning in her bathtub. Her apartment was empty, but the tub contained exactly 47 gallons of water, the amount needed to drown someone her size. January 15, 2019. Maria Santos predicted poisoning. Her apartment was empty, but a cup of coffee on the table contained lethal cyanide levels. Each scene was identical in its sterile perfection. Each caller had vanished at exactly the predicted time. And according to voice analysis, all 7 calls had been made by the same person despite different names and numbers. Security footage from Rachel's building provided the final puzzle piece. Cameras showed Rachel leaving at 7:45 a.m. on March 18th, returning at 11:23 p.m., then leaving again at 3:52 a.m., 5 minutes after the 911 call. Most disturbing was footage from 9:30 a.m. For exactly 3 seconds, cameras captured a flash of light from Rachel's window. In those 3 seconds, there appeared to be 2 figures, one standing, one falling. When the light faded, the window was empty. Rivera requested the original digital files. The metadata showed impossible anomalies. The 9:30 a.m. footage was timestamped March 19, 2019, as expected. But it was also timestamped September 12, 2018, the date of the first similar call. The same footage appeared multiple times with different dates. The investigation stalled when Rivera discovered Rachel Morrison didn't legally exist. Her social security number belonged to a woman who died in 2017. Her driver's license was a sophisticated fake. Her employment records appeared 18 months ago despite colleagues remembering her for years. But the case took a final turn 6 months later. On September 19, 2019, another call came in. 911, what's your emergency? Yes, I need to report a murder that's going to happen. My murder. In approximately 6 hours and 13 minutes. The caller identified herself as Riley Martinez. But Karen Wells recognized the voice immediately. It was Rachel Morrison, trapped in an endless cycle of predicting her own death. Rivera was waiting when police arrived at the new address. The apartment was identical, same cleanliness, same unlocked window, same laptop message. Loop number 848 failed again. But there was something new. A handwritten note. To whoever keeps investigating, stop looking for me. I'm not lost. This is my choice. Every 6 months I get to try again. I know it seems hopeless, but what's the alternative? Accepting that some things can't be changed? I won't do that. So I'll keep making the call, keep trying to create the paradox that will save me, even though I know it will fail. Because the moment I stop trying is the moment I truly die. As of today, similar calls continue every 6 months. Different names, different addresses, same voice, same outcome. Rachel Morrison remains locked in a temporal loop of her own creation, forever attempting to prevent a death that her efforts to prevent continue to cause. The last call came in 2 weeks ago. The voice was the same, but something had changed. There was a weariness that hadn't been there before. This is attempt number 887, the caller said. I'm getting tired, but I can't stop, because stopping means accepting that I was never in control. And if I was never in control, then what was the point of any of it? The call ended the same way they all did, with silence, with disappearance, with an empty apartment that looked like a stage set for a life never lived. Somewhere out there, Rachel Morrison is preparing to make another call, to report another murder, to vanish into another empty room. Because some people, when faced with the limits of their power, choose to beat against those limits forever rather than accept them. She chooses the pain of endless failure over the peace of surrender. She chooses hope over acceptance, struggle over serenity, the possibility of change over the certainty of fate. And maybe that's the most human thing of all, the refusal to give up, even when giving up would end the suffering. The loop continues. The call will come again. And Detective Rivera will answer, because someone has to bear witness to the woman who chose eternal struggle over final peace. So when your phone rings at 3:47 a.m. and you see an unknown number, think twice before answering. Because once you hear that voice calm, determined, reporting her own death with mathematical precision, you become part of her story. You become another witness to the impossible. Another person who knows that somewhere out there, someone is refusing to accept the unacceptable over and over again. And that refusal echoes through time itself, a reminder that consciousness might be more powerful than we ever imagined. Powerful enough to trap itself in defiance of natural law. Powerful enough to choose suffering over surrender. The question isn't whether Rachel Morrison is alive or dead. The question is whether she's discovered something about reality that the rest of us aren't ready to understand. Because in the end, maybe the only choice that really matters is the choice to keep choosing, even when all choices lead to the same destination. The loop continues, and somewhere in Chicago, a phone is about to ring.